Welcome back, guys, to episode, I don't know what episode number this is, but this is the Kind of Nice podcast. Today we have a special guest that Rocky's going to introduce, and here's Rocky.
Sorry, guys.
AKA.
All right, so today we have a very special guest. She's a Ninja Warrior superstar. She's the first female rookie to qualify for Vegas. She's the first female to hit a city finals and a stage 1 budget in the same season. Actually, she's the first woman to have a perfect season going on to stage 2. She has so many firsts, but she usually is the last woman standing. Am I right?
Wow.
Hold on. Wait.
Hey, this man.
She is not an abusive person, but she loves hitting them buzzers with 9 buzzers in
Let's
total.
go. You said she's only abusive to buzzers.
You know what I'm saying? She is
Wow.
part of the Fantastic Four, and she's the captain of the Breakfast Club. Today we have Jesse Lebreck.
Let's go. Man,
Maybe
that
we
was
do
an
need to
intro.
mic him up.
Yeah,
Maybe we do
I'm
need to
telling
mic
you,
him up.
Rocky is underutilized.
That's crazy.
That was good.
The
I
man's
like that.
talented.
Well, what's up, Jesse?
Hi.
Welcome to Houston.
Thank you.
Gotta say the best intro that's ever happened
It
on
really
the
is.
podcast.
Low key.
Deserving.
You've been
Very
blessed.
deserving.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
dope.
good. That was awesome.
Is any of it not true? Did he cut anything he said?
Honestly, one of the things I was like, I did do that. And I didn't even realize.
Dude, I'm telling
I
you,
didn't think about how the finals and the stage 1 happened in the same season, and that hadn't happened before. So, yeah,
Dude,
that was cool.
Lebreck's been flexing on him for a hot minute. People, I don't think everybody knows. I remember gosh, what was it? NNL, was it back in the day? And you had won NNL was it with Jeff the same
Yes,
year?
that was that first season of NNL.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that was a big deal. That was like NNL was like trying to get its ground, and like to win was it was a big deal, and you won it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's sick. That was back in the day. So ever
So
since.
I'm pretty much as strong as Jeff Britton, is what you're saying.
What I'm saying
You're
is
the
you and
equivalent.
Jeff Britton are the same person.
Okay, cool.
Same.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think like if we think about it, I think Jessie is like the number one like ninja like female athlete in my opinion. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not your opinion, Grant, but I think like
Number one,
realistically,
I don't think-
consistency wise, like I think it's her.
Well, thank you.
Gosh, that's a not only a good question, but probably a true statement.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's the
I mean,
truth.
honestly, and that's just on numbers. That's not on my opinion. I have opinions.
He said that's on numbers.
Yeah, I mean, because she's like, as a person, but like as an athlete, the numbers are there and you can't argue them.
Yeah. No, but like, because I knew like Casey kind of when Casey was like popping Canzaro, but like Casey was a great athlete, but she wasn't at the level you were at. Casey was just a great personality, I think, and she did great for back in the day. But I think if like you and Jesse were to go, you and Casey were to go head to head now, or not nowadays, but like at your peaks, I think you've been like the best female athlete, but also.
That's why I never thought about this.
Ninja was also like a totally different animal back then too. The lack of gyms and the lack of competitions
true.
outside of it made it a totally different sport. I feel like I came in at a really good. You need it closer?
No, I just want to see your face on the video. People want to see your face too.
I feel like I came in at a really good time when things were really starting to ramp up. People were coaching each other and there was competitions. And then the show started leveling up its obstacles. And so like we had to level up our training. So I feel like that helped a lot. So it's like, it's hard to compare. Like,
what was
Casey's
something
journey
you
and mine.
noticed? Like when you said it was different then, what was the first thing you like kind of like, oh, wait, this is different? Like obviously now someone could come in and go, oh, there's a lot of younger people doing it. Is there something or a moment in time where you're like, ooh, we kind of turned a corner? Like, oh, this obstacle came out and that one's actually.
I think season 7 and season 8 are where the obstacles really started to level up with the technique that it took. And like, there were some really interesting different obstacles that people hadn't seen before or trained on before. And that technique was so important. And so, before it was more straightforward stuff just to like show your strength, trampolines to ropes to cargo nets or cannonball or like ring toss was like an obstacle. And so, and then you look at, other seasons, season 7 and 8, and there is some really tricky and hard stuff like the the ladder. Oh gosh, it was my season 9, my obstacle 9 in Philadelphia. It was like the bar, and you had to take it down the ladder and up the steps, kind of thing, and like very technical, you know. So
It got weird quick.
yeah, I think it had to, because we were growing so fast and we were getting stronger so much faster,
Well,
because there's
some
more
people
gyms.
were. I mean, I was there, but
He been around.
this does not act like we were all growing so quickly.
Yeah.
But, so, what was your first season?
Season 8 in
Season 8.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I hear the best people start in 7. When did you start?
That's a good question, bro.
Yeah,
When was I allowed to start?
7 was when
I
the
thought
best
you were
people
8.
started.
No, or 9.
Yeah, 7.
I was whatever was after the Team Ninja when you won that. No, did you win that year?
I didn't win Team Ninja. We won Ninja versus Ninja.
No, that's what I'm saying. Ninja versus Ninja.
How do you
That had
not
to
know
been-
what
that had to
season
been
is
8.
your first
Had to been 8.
season?
He was in College Madness.
I knew
It was
12
his
was
first.
12 was supposed to be my first season.
You were 7, weren't you?
I think I was 9.
What
It
was
had-
your
it
first
had been
city?
later.
My first city? Maybe
Oh my
Dallas,
God,
OKC.
kid.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Ninja
San
Guide.
Antonio?
Dude, go to ninjaguide.com. They have
It's all a
everything.
blur. It really is. Do you know all this?
I mean,
You know your first city, your first season?
yeah,
all
of course. I know every region that I've been in.
Dang, I'm out here just not knowing
Like
these
I know,
things.
like a lot of my friends' first seasons. Like, yeah,
That's crazy.
I
So
just
you don't know my
I
first
just
season?
don't know yours.
Dang, she
No,
just said
I
we're
mean,
not friends.
Ninjaguide.com will tell you not only
Yeah,
where
where
you
you
were,
fell,
when, where you
yeah.
fell. There's a video connected if they have it online. Like it is.
Yeah.
There's everything you want to know.
No, my first season was Dallas. It was Dallas for sure.
And what was the balance? If that can,
It was the tuning force.
that was your first season.
Yeah.
So that was season 9.
Yeah, because I remember I was just like,
Or
if I don't get past these tuning forks, that's it for me. They're not gonna call me back. That was like a big like, because I was like, if I scrub it up on the balance obstacle, it's gonna be like, well, that was it for me. But
yeah,
thankfully, I got through that one.
then it should have been 9. I think.
It was 9, I think, because it was 3 years before my 21st birthday. So yeah, because I was.
9. You were 8.
8.
Yeah, and the best were in 7. So
Was it you 7?
what? Yeah, come to think of it, I was 7. That's interesting. Anyways, moving on.
Moving on.
Nah. So season 8, you come in hot. How did your first season go? What were you thinking? I mean, have you been watching as a kid? Like, I mean, let's ask the age old question, like why and how did you get into Ninja?
Yeah. So I had seen like Casey's clip. Was like that got sent to me. I got tagged in it and whatever. And it's funny because one of my friends, if I look way back, he didn't even tag me and said like, "Hey Jesse, you should do this." And I like laughed at him. Like I like put like, "Haha, yeah, right," or something like that. Cause it was when I was in college. And then my friend John Alexis was doing he was trying out for the show. He was submitting his application. And he was like, "Hey, can you help me film some stuff for this show, American Ninja Warrior?" And I was like, "Dude, like people from Maine don't get on TV shows. Like you're not going to get on the show." And I was like, "But sure, I'll come and help you." And then he got on the show. And I was like, "Oh my God, like I can't believe that I thought that he couldn't." And then he did. And so he was going down to alternate routes for a competition. He asked me to go with him. We traveled like the 12 hours down there. I met Jamie Ron, Michelle Warnke, Jeff Britton, like everyone. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so fun. Everyone was so supportive and it was a blast. And by then I had stopped doing track for about a year.
Yeah.
And so I needed something competitive and something fun. And I was like, this is amazing. And so like 6 months later, I moved to Boston so I could train for it at gyms out there because we didn't have anything in Maine.
So you moved specifically to train for Ninja before you even kind of like got big off Ninja and knew that it was like a route of.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Interesting.
I was going to coach track with my old coach who lived outside of Boston. And a week later, I had moved there. I was going to start training, coaching with him. And he got a job in my hometown in Maine, like a week later. And he was like, "You can come back with me." And I was
Yeah.
like, I just packed up my car and moved out here. And I was like, "Nope, that's okay. I'll make it work. I'm going to, try to really pursue this ninja thing." And that's how I got the job with Emmeline is I was looking for like nannying jobs. And I was like, okay, like nannying like 2 and 3 year olds that are like crying and whining and like whatever, I can do it. Or like nannying a 17, 18-year-old girl that just needs help with like day-to-day life stuff. I was like, that sounds like way more fun.
Yeah.
So then that's what I did leading up to season 8 as I worked with Emmeline.
I
Yeah, I
didn't know
mean,
that story.
shout out to Emmeline. I don't know who have followed you since back then or know some of that story, so maybe you have to pretend that some of them don't know. I've had the privilege of meeting her, and I can definitely tell some of the stories from my experience because it is pretty. It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild deal to see her excitement and to have not a ton of ways that she can express herself in comparison maybe to a lot of other people. She gets so much across without a full vocabulary of all these different words, but you can genuinely see her excitement, her joy, maybe her frustration, like all these things that come across. It's a really powerful thing just to be around her and hang out and see her so excited to be at Ninja. That was where I got to see her and to know that, but to be working with her, maybe tell a little bit about her and you know, what that was.
So yes, if you guys haven't followed since the beginning, Emmeline has cerebral palsy. And so she's quadriplegic nonverbal. And so, but with cerebral palsy, like their mental is there, like she is fully there and she is incredible. She's an incredible human. And so she communicates, her parents made her like a paper board that she can use with a visor and a stick. And that's how we can like quickly she can communicate. But then she also has her computer. You can set it up and she uses it with the dot on her glasses and it moves the mouse. And so she can communicate that way as well. But yes, once you get to know her well enough, like we didn't need that communication stuff always in order for her to express exactly what she wanted or what she needed or how happy she was. And she loves the ninjas. Like
for real, man.
Oh, man.
You can't, that was the first thing I experienced. Like Jesse's like, come over, say hi to Emmeline, blah, blah, blah. She's like, she watches the show, different things. And I'm thinking, okay, you meet fans on the stage and different stuff like that. There's nothing to describe the experience other than being there. It's just like, she just like lights up in every way that you could. And you're just like, oh my gosh, she just like the excitement, the breathing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like it makes me happy to see you because you're so happy to see me. It's so crazy to experience that with her. And then just, she's getting excited. And then everyone else around who knows her better is able to express maybe even the intricacies of her excitement and go, oh, that's this. And that's how she feels. And this is how she watches. And this is how she knows. Cause I remember you were able to be like, and you're talking to her about stuff I'm sure y'all talked about in the show and see it. So I don't know. That to me was actually a really cool thing. I hope a lot of people get to experience one day, but just to know that, you made a decision between nannying younger ages and then choosing this is, I don't know many people that would choose a different or what people like. But you chose this different route. I think that says a lot because I don't think people take time to see the goodness in different things. Because a lot of people think, oh, little children, that's beautiful. That's cute. That's fun. That's like being a mother and I want to be a mother. So I'm going to do that. And that's wonderful. Nannying is wonderful. I'm not saying that, but like to take this other route is to show something about your personality, and it has a deep riches of goodness that I don't think a lot of people will go there to do that, to be in that deep. And that was really cool to me. So,
and if they were in it, they would see that it's way more fun and it's better. And I had told her mom, I was like, I've never worked with anyone with a disability before. Yeah. And we were on the phone and she was like, that's okay. It's all can be learned and whatever. And she was like, this is the one thing though is, can you lift or can you squat somebody with 85 pounds? And I was like,
come on now.
I was like,
lightweight?
Yes. Yeah. I was like, no problem. And she was like, really? I was like, yes, it will be.
Track star.
I'm like,
that was my other experience in Lebreck there was one time, and I don't even like telling this story.
Here we go.
Yeah, we were on the beach and I was like, we had some big ninja hangout. Everyone's there, whatever. And we're all doing something. I forget where we're at. You'll probably know when I keep telling, because I don't remember where we were at. But I remember we went to the beach for like a day or something. And we were on the beach, like cruising with everybody. And like I knew Lebreck did track, right? So I'm like, well, I'm going to beat her in a race real quick.
Oh, no.
I'm going to go ahead and beat her real quick. In my mind, I'm thinking like, light work. I did track. I wasn't the fastest, longer distance was better for me, whatever excuse I could say right now. Like. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get my race in real quick. Just, I'll meet you at that pole or whatever. Right. And she's like, sure, let's race, whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. I'm so sure I'm about to smoke her. And bro, when I say I was processing like, oh, I need to really get, she's gone. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna, and I just like watched her as I'm running full steam, just watched her just sail away. And I was like, oh, dang.
That's hilarious.
We went into that race with very different mindsets. I was like, I'm going to go as hard as I can and try to beat Grant.
Oh, no, I had that mindset. Oh, no, same mindset. Yeah, we're both thinking the same thing.
You just didn't execute.
I did. I just put everything I had out there and it wasn't enough. You know, sometimes it's not enough. But yeah, definitely, you know, your physical strength is on par. Yeah. And something I'd like to know about too, because one of the biggest things that's come across in the last couple of years is like ninjas and the females specifically talking about it's not strong to have muscles and, you know, all this different stuff, or, you know, you look manly because you have muscles and stuff like that. And now, of course, I'm in the CrossFit world and that's even more so there in different ways. What did you think about that, about being athletic? And I mean, even going back into your backstory a little bit, there was, I think you had two buddies, Raymond
and Caleb.
Yeah, Raymond and Caleb.
Yeah.
And you were hanging with the boys. Was it more of like you grew up doing more activities maybe the guys are doing, or what was your upbringing like?
Yeah. I had a very big group of guy friends, and there's like 2 or 3 of us girls, and then like probably like 8 or 9 guys, and very adventurous, dirt biking, snowmobiling, wakeboarding, hiking, like all that kind of stuff. And so it was like, you got to keep up. You just want to keep up with them. And then being a part of the track world for sure is like, I mean, girls aren't like, you know, they're strong. They're so strong and they're so lean that their muscles do look very big. And so I feel like I was always part of that world where if I was looking up to somebody, they were extremely muscular and extremely strong. Like Lolo Jones was somebody that I really looked up to because she was an amazing hurdler. She's an Olympian. And she was just totally ripped. And so for me, it was like, if I want to reach my goals, if I want to be the athlete that I want to be in track, like I should look like that. And if I don't look like that, then I need to work harder to look like that. My mindset was never like, I don't want to look like a guy. I don't want to have muscles. I don't want to be like manly looking. Mine was like, I want to work my butt off and reach these goals. And like, I need to look muscular. I need to be muscular. I need to be strong. Yeah. And that's, I feel like, and then that's carried with me through to Ninja. And it's more so now is like, I need my body to look like whatever it's going to look like for me to be strong. I'm not worried about what it looks like. I'm just trying to be as strong as I can be. And it's just going to look however it looks.
Yeah, no, that's exactly like been my mindset is like, I don't care how I look as long as I'm functional, at least when the ninja side of things. But that is like a big thing that I hear when I talk to like girls that want to get into fitness. They're like, I don't want to work out because I'll like become a dude. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, I work really, really, really hard. And I feel like I don't look like a dude. So like you telling me you're going to come in and you're just going to, in 6 months, all of a sudden look like a dude, like you'd have to be taking something. Like,
yeah, for sure. I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, well, what do you think about that idea? Even when I was asking it, I was like, did you grow up doing more guy things? I'm like, oh, that doesn't even sound.
I think
good,
it was the role models thing, because like if she were to look up to like more like pop stars and singers and like their body type, but she looked up to like athletes and she was like, oh, like the athletic body type is what I look up to.
Yeah, but I mean, like, who decided riding on a ATV is a guy thing? Like, why can't, that shouldn't be a gender specific thing, but I get that, there's tendencies we have maybe as masculine and feminine things, but I don't want to get into that huge debate.
Don't bring this up, bro. We're not doing this again. We're not doing that again. We've done that.
We'll come back in part 2, but what I'm curious on is, did that distinction ever come for you? Is it always just been focused on like, well, I just need to be stronger, so however that looks is fine? Or what do you think about that idea of this is manly to be muscular and you're like, well, I don't know if I want to look that way? Or is it just always not even been a thought?
I think it's never been a thought or concern. And I mean, I can understand other women not wanting to look a certain way. Like, I mean, that's so much of what people think about, right? Is how they look. Yeah. So it's understandable that people are concerned and they don't want to look a certain way. I just don't think they understand what it would take to look that certain way. Like they might look at like a CrossFitter and be like, that's too muscular. I don't want to look like that. Well, you'd have to put in a ton of work to look like that.
Yeah.
And if you're not even into fitness, you're probably not all of a sudden just going to put in the
Surprise,
amount of work that a
you're
CrossFitter.
a long way away.
Yeah. And so, no, it's never really been, I've never thought that. It's never come across my mind.
Now, sticking on that subject, what are your thoughts? And this is a broad subject. We're probably sticking it for a little bit, but what are your thoughts on like potentially the differences between men and females when it comes to Ninja Warrior specifically and them competing?
Oh, you said you didn't want to go there. And
No,
then
we're
you
not
said,
going-
excuse me,
we're
let's
not-
go there.
No, what you want to do is talk about just gender stuff.
You say, I don't want to talk about any of that.
No.
I
want to talk about what she thinks. Like, would she prefer that there's like a separate like girl Ninja Warrior to where she would be like there'd be a baseline of like the girls are all competing against each other, or if she likes the challenge of competing against the men? I mean, they do the women challenge now, so they kind of have that.
Yeah.
But I
So
mean,
do you
even
think there should be a women's division and a men's division?
like if you were to make the show, you're the head producer. What would you do?
Okay. So,
Ooh.
I would like a last woman standing prize. I
Okay.
feel like that is something that should have been there. And it was actually something I was going to bring up to the producers right before they announced that the women's championship was announced. And then I was like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I want to be invited to this and I want to be able to compete in it. But it is very hard where I feel like I am a professional athlete. And it's hard to feel like a professional athlete in something that's a reality TV show. But that's how I feel because we work so hard for it. And it's hard to feel like a pro athlete. And I am competing against guys in a pro sport. And I will never win any money because I'm competing against the guys.
Yeah.
And so I know that it's, it could be possible. Things could work out. You could get in the top 3 here or there, but like, I'm never going to beat Mount Midoriyama over a guy. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know people feel differently and that's totally okay. But I do enjoy when there are split courses and I compete on a course that challenges me to my full limit. But I also know that I'm capable of achieving that buzzer.
Yeah.
And it is hard going to competitions where I know that I can't do the last 3 or 4 obstacles. And you're like,
What's the
okay, I'm
point?
just going to get as far as I can. I don't value myself based on how strong I am against other men.
Yeah.
It's just not something I've ever done. And yeah, it's cool. Like, it's cool to compete with everybody and see how far you can get against everybody. But like when there's like money involved that like could help your life, like it's not quite as cool.
Would you say you value yourself though against other women?
I think so. Cause like, that's what you're doing is like, you're trying to train really hard and work so hard to be the best. And I'm not trying to be the best out of everybody. I'm trying to be the best out of the women.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm like,
Well, one is like
top
attainable because you're like already have attained it, and like beating like the dudes. I mean, that's like almost impossible. I think. Like, I don't see.
I mean, we're sitting here saying this stuff, right? But I know times that Jesse's beaten me.
Yeah, but
Or
like
go
you're
back to our race.
You're an amazing athlete, right? But like you're not like at the top of Ninja. Like
Yeah,
I'm saying you take the top Ninja Warrior guy. Like he's a beast.
I mean, it is what it is.
Grant will smoke
call me a
me.
beast or not. It
That's-
is what it is.
Grant will
That's some-
smoke me in anything, but like in Ninja, like that's just not where he excels. Right?
that's the main thing is like, I feel like there's guys I can beat and there's guys I have beaten.
Yeah.
But I will never beat the best guys I mean, maybe if there's 1-1 and
Yeah.
they fall in the water, like whatever.
Yeah.
But there's not one best guy. There's 10 to 20 guys
there's
that
a
are
lot.
way better than me. And so if one falls, the next one's going to make it pass. And to me, that's okay. I'm not fighting to be better than them. First of all, I'm trying to be the best that I can be.
Yeah.
I'm not always comparing myself to the women. It's more like the women's championship where that's like what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be competing. You're competing for $50,000. I'm not going into American Ninja Warrior, the regular show, being like, oh, I got to beat this girl. I got to beat Michelle Warnke. I got to beat Alyssa Beard. Like, I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking I want to beat my goals and my best. And wherever that lands me, lands me.
I think that's the healthiest mindset, male or female, is like Ninja Warrior isn't a sport where you're like one-on-one versus somebody, unless it's like Team Ninja Warrior.
Right.
But realistically, like the show is like you versus the course, you do your best out there. You try to beat your personal best. And then if that lands you in the top, it lands you in the top. And if that doesn't, then it doesn't, right?
Right. Even with women's championship, it's not even head to head until the last 2 races.
Yeah.
So you're not even in that mindset, really. You're thinking, okay, get a buzzer and just be in the top 6 or be in the top 4. And then it's head to head.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's very few times on the show where I have been like head to head thinking like, okay, I have to beat this person.
Yeah.
I just think it. I'm like, I think it's great. And whether I agree or don't agree or anything, I would in this case, but whatever. I wish I hadn't said that. I want to remain neutral on so many things, but at least for our conversation. But how would you encourage with that viewpoint, which in this case I agree with, and I think that men and women are made different, and so treat people differently for being different, but how would you speak into the bigger idea, maybe we don't want to go there, of equality with that in terms? Like Dave Chappelle has a pretty good joke about what if LeBron wanted to be transgender all of a sudden and move to the NBA.
The WNBA?
The WNBA.
Yeah.
He's going to have 1 million points a game, right? Well, that's just this obvious difference in males and females and how we're made, which would seem to be something along lines you would agree with. And so how can that be encouraging to someone who is like, yes, equality on certain things for sure, but also like, it's okay to recognize there's a difference between men and female in certain ways. And you know what I mean? Is there a bigger statement towards equality?
I think that if you just look at all sports, what sport are the best women and the best men competing against each other? The only thing that's even close are like swim relays or medley relays with track, but it's the same amount of men and the same amount of women. And so it's still pairing the men against the men and the women against the women. I mean, there's not a sport that I know of where the best man and the best woman are competing against each other.
Yeah.
And if there was, that's still to say there'd be that one and then all of these other ones that aren't. So numbers wise,
but I think you have to look at like attributes, because even when I'm trying to think of a sport and I'm thinking like, okay, I think the reason that is just like men by nature are stronger, are just like kind of bigger, are able to do different things that the women can't. So I'm trying to understand like, okay, well, what are some things maybe that like women are more than men, right? So usually like that's like in the physical realm, it's not really, there's not much I could say because it's
making
like,
people.
What?
That's a
I said
that's a
making,
little superpower y'all
making
got.
people.
You guys got that one on us. we can stand pain though, you know?
Yeah.
What's good, Grant? Give me some. But no, like if a sport is very technical, then maybe it's
making people, man, continuing life.
right? But think about like pool or like table tennis. Like I don't know if those sports are like unisex or if they're split, but those are sports that are like, it's not about strength, it's literally just technique.
Yeah.
But
that's a good call. I've never even thought to look into like, table tennis or
chess.
Yeah. Or
even
what's
chess.
the Canadian one?
I was thinking curling. Is that what
curling? Yeah. So yes, Kara actually from Ninja Babes, she shared a triangle chart that she had gotten from some doctors that had the strength differences by percentage from men and women.
Yeah.
And the power endurance percentage was very big. Like the difference was very big. And that was the one thing I remember. And I was like, man, power endurance is so important in Ninja. Yeah. Like it's very important in Ninja. And so the fact that was so like such a big percentage was like, well, that explains a lot. And so I don't know. I think it's a tough one, and it depends on everyone's experiences. It depends maybe how long they've been in the sport. It depends what their goals are. But that's how I feel. Is like I feel like I'm a professional athlete in the sport, and so I want to compete with the other women professional athletes.
Now, this is kind of the thing that I always think about is like, man, because I had that same feeling and I still kind of do. But like, I do feel like we train like professional athletes, and there's a lot of those like traits that come with being a professional athlete, but we don't have like the pay that comes with being a professional athlete, or like even the facility. Like some people get lucky. Like I've been very blessed, and I like have been very cool with a lot of facilities that like do physical things like cryo, or like places like massage therapists that'll work on me for free that I wouldn't be able to pay for it if I was doing it as a professional athlete.
Out here trying to get touched up, dude. Go listen to our last podcast.
But we don't have
kid.
those resources, right?
Right.
So we're doing all these things and straining ourselves, and we're not really getting the ROI on it, right? There's no return on this investment of physicality, of time, of all these things. I always have the thought of like, man, if I could go back and put all this time that I put into Ninja into another sport and be at the level that I am at Ninja in another sport, like, would I want to do that? And what sport would I want to go into?
You'd have to be very particular about what sport though, too, because there are so many sports where they still go through the same stuff that we're going through.
Yeah.
Like bobsledding. I have two friends that they're in the Olympics in bobsledding right now, and they had to fundraise and get, do GoFundMes just to go to certain events or to be able to survive, to continue on in this path. And then same thing with like track, like I looked into pursuing it after college, and it would have been a very hard road. And so, but then, look at football or basketball or baseball, like golf, like it's vastly different.
Golf shocks me.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
soccer.
I mean, I think about all this stuff too, business and why, and trying to make Ninja things work and having a lot of them fail and being a part of the ones that fail and being like, oh, and then asking the owners of the things I was a part of, like, well, what did you do? Oh, you didn't do any of these things. Oh, well, then I see why it failed. Well, one of the things I'm constantly brought up is we want to do this. And I'm like, great. What do you think's going to happen? How many people do you think are going to buy tickets? Like, what is your spectator projection? Because it's probably not there. The thing is, you can sell a ton of people on football. They can sit down and watch it like girls, guys, and it's, same basketball, these highly viewable ones. And then that's one thing in Ninja we kind of have seen not do as well as getting people signed up to watch. They like Ninja Warriors, a show where there's storylines, but just the athletic stuff that we've created, even in I'm spacing. We're filming at your gym. Help my brain. I was hosting. UNX. Hello.
Yeah.
And we see a Ninja in just an athletic sense.
It's not interesting.
And it's like, well, okay, then the money comes with viewership, because viewership is sponsorships, companies paying in because they want those people's eyes, right? Well, that seems to be our big struggle bus. But the same thing, CrossFit's now just getting there. As I'm peering in on that crowd, a lot of the top athletes, they're just doing it, chipping along. And now they have these big prizes, and the CrossFit Games has made it there, but it wasn't always there. And so
I think a big difference is that there are a lot of people that do Ninja, just like there's a lot of people that do CrossFit. But like, there's been times where I got really into CrossFit, but it was because I watched the documentaries that went in the background stories of Sarah Sigmundsdottir or Noah Olson or Matt Frazier. And I learned about them. I watched those like 30-minute documentaries. And then I was like so invested in making sure to watch them. And with Ninja, you see, 20 to 40 people for an episode, and then you don't see that person again for 6 weeks. So that's hard on the actual show. And so what people are trying to do right now, like my fiance and Ethan, they're trying to make it where you see those same athletes. It gives you the availability to see them every time they have that competition and they're there, or at least see the top athletes, and you get to see them do multiple runs in that same day. And so I think that's hopefully where the sport is headed, is where you see more of the athletes that you get connected with, because everybody connects with somebody in Ninja. And then you get to see that athlete more versus like 2 times or 3 times in an entire season.
That's a good point. I think my thing with Ninjas, it's always been like, if it's not on like the NBC show, and it's because if you take it out of NBC to where they have the capability of showing storylines of having people be emotionally invested in people doing well, versus just like, oh, this is like a ninja athlete. Unless you're in the sport, it's such a niche thing. Like, you don't understand like the technicalities of like a lâché, of a cliffhanger, of these different moves. It kind of just looks like a blur to you. You're like, you don't have a threshold of like, how hard is that? Like, it just looks like this guy's moving and grabbing stuff. I think what has made the show so popular is being able to like have these emotional storylines with people, and then you watch them go through the course, and you know who the person is a little more, versus just like, I know nothing about LeBron's like life story, but like, he's amazing to watch because of how simple that sport is, and I can kind of understand what's going on, and it's just not as nuanced, right?
Well, every sport is, favoritism most often in sport context is due to performance. When you are the top performer, you become the one people can start to enjoy and want to then go in your storyline. But people like LeBron, Michael, Kobe, because they were the top people, right? Or it's not as much showmanship in a true athletic setting, where Ninja has this element of showmanship because it's a reality TV show. The other thing that's interesting to think about is Ninja is so easy to fail in. That's what I've liked about CrossFit is I can fail a rep. Like this morning, I was failing all the reps and it just didn't matter. I just then started again and go, okay, fix it, whatever. Ninja, you could be the strongest, best. A great example would be Jeff Britton, very strong, and then just fall somewhere or make a mistake, and that's it. So it doesn't allow for all the sport of Ninja, I would argue, doesn't allow for a rising of the top people always, because it's so diverse that there's a lot of top people, since the sport itself is so diverse versus basketball. Put the ball in the hoop. Can you do that? Cool. You get the point, whatever. Where Ninja's like, well, are you good at cliffhangers? Well, can you do a big lache? Do you have power? Do you have endurance? Do you have speed? And so it doesn't allow itself to be
but all these things
favorites come up due to just athletics.
All these things you're saying I think are things that make Ninja great, though, but because it differentiates it, but it's also some of its limitations, right?
I definitely think
and it's also the amount of time that you actually get to spend watching that ninja that's your favorite do it. Yeah. So like Jeff Britton, you saw his runs are fairly fast because he's good. So you watch him for 3 to 5 minutes, 3 to 4 times a season. Like that's like less than 15 minutes an entire season, where you watch LeBron James for quadruple that in a basketball game. I actually don't know how long a basketball game is. Yeah. I said that and then I was like, oh.
How long is a basketball game?
Well, the thing is, we're deciding here is, are people watching Ninja because of their athleticism, or is it because of their fandom that can happen with their storyline and whatnot? And we're not. I mean, honestly.
I've never understood that. That's something like the way, because there's been guys that are like, in the past, because I've been around the game for like a long time, right? And I've been only competing since season 9, but I've known pretty much everybody that's been through like the fame realm with Ninja. And it's always been kind of like a question to me, like, man, why is this guy, like, even guys that are stronger than me, just fans don't seem to care. Yeah. But some guys, they're like I did fairly well my first couple of seasons, and I felt like I like blew up, but that somebody that did just as fine as me like got no recognition off of it, and I don't understand what the difference is between like, is it person? Like I literally
think
don't
for
know.
You specifically, it was because you were the youngest, and so all of these kids could relate to you the best because you were the closest in age to them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'm 33, bro.
I
got you by a solid decade.
Yeah. And so at that time you were the youngest. Yeah. And so they were like, if I can relate to anybody on this show right now, it's the person that's the youngest. And so I feel like that's why so many kids at my gym still love you. And I'm like, who? I'm just kidding.
Dang! Clip that. I gotta go. I'm just getting roasted today.
Clip that.
I'm just kidding.
Get inflamed. Put some flames on it.
Seriously, like they're still asking for your shirts and asking how to get them and asking about you as you competing.
I'm trying to make some money now.
Yeah, I'm trying to make some marshmallows after that roasting out here, bro. That's all I know.
So, and I think that's a huge deal, which is why I do think that I like that the kids are on the show. The 15, not to start more controversial topics, but I train a lot of kids, and the fact that they have somebody that's even closer to them now that they can relate to and think that they can work towards something. Cause I mean, who knows if by the time they hit 15, the show will still be around, or they'll still be inviting 15-year-olds, but they have somebody that they can relate to, where he's 11. And this one kid in particular looks up to Vance Walker so much and is built like Vance. And he trains so hard because he wants to be like Vance. Yeah. And so I like it because it drives my kids and it gives them motivation. And I love to see it. It's a little tough for me sometimes out there, but I mean, I think it's good. More people to relate to.
I love your perspective there, because you can look out for like the kids and stuff. But I think as a TV show, I've talked to some people, and even for me, like the show is great, and I love that they're trying to do new things. They're always kind of get a twist, but with like mixing how, I don't know if we've like fully talked about the subject now, but now that there's like these really young guys on the show, it has kind of like lost some of the like. I wouldn't watch. I don't really watch the show that much, anyways. But like, I'm thinking of like Sasuke when I did used to watch like that on G4. Like, if there was like kids competing on that, I would have been like, this feels like it belongs on Nickelodeon. Like, I don't know if I want to watch this. And I know a lot of adults feel that way. It's like the adults that watch the show on NBC, for the same reason that the kids can relate to these kids, these adults can't relate to these teenagers because they're like, these kids are in high school. They haven't even like seen life yet. And they're like, I like the relatability there that makes the show so popular on NBC, I think is kind of like getting stepped down because like now they have to make the courses so much harder because these young kids are like animals at this stuff. But now people that are like what the show used to be built off of was like is seeing like a firefighter try this or a school teacher and all these people from different walks of life try the same course and kind of that be the equalizer. Now it's become like, oh, if you're just a firefighter trying to do this, you're gonna get smoked. Like second obstacle.
I 100% agree. But I think about if I'm trying to have, I'm trying not to say this like in a rude way at all for the adults, but if I want to inspire somebody, I want it to be the kids to be active and to go into fitness and to gain confidence and to believe in themselves. And so if there's somebody that's going to be inspired and it's the kids, I don't think that's the worst thing.
She said, I'm doing it for the kids.
Well, I mean, take any time someone's gotten excited to start a sport, whether that's watch basketball and then they want to be like LeBron or Kobe or whatever, or they watch the Olympics and they got into gymnastics. That was a big gateway in, was watching the Olympics. Now the Olympics is the youngest, really the best, and they allowed it to a very low age, but it's the best is the focus. That's where our whole struggle is. Are we a TV show that are making entertaining things about personalities? Do we want to see the firefighter? Or do we want just the best people to compete to create the best athletic environment, which is the most purest athletic?
Yeah, that's a hard balance. Like, because I think Ninja in the form of NBC in the TV show needs the like firefighter, the story to survive. If it turns into this pure athletic competition, I don't think it would survive. So there has to be a balance there. I don't think it should be like a full like one spectrum or the other, because I think,
well, if let's say we created a completely pure, and people are, I mean, your fiance, trying, Ethan, I've been a part of some of those. I've seen other ones that have already, but well, I mean, and big attempts too with Rockford Ninja or with Wolfpack and these other tours that are trying to go, athletic only. Could that survive? Because we're coming away from TV. We can all see that TV's if we put it on the right place, social media or some other way, can that happen? What do you guys think?
To support Ethan and Chris, yes, it can happen. I mean,
you can't say no.
Yeah, right. I can't be like, no, that's never going to happen. I mean, I told Chris, we have a lot of conversations about this and about Ninja Sport Network and everything that him and Ethan have created. And I pushed for him to do this.
Maybe go ahead and just, not to cut you off. I don't think people know what Ninja Sport Network is. So maybe tell that real quick. Yeah.
So it's this new league that Chris and Ethan have created. Basically it starts today with, there's an open round. Anyone can sign up and do this open round. From the open round, you do a course that's upper body, lower body, a little mix of everything. And the top 10 women and the top 10 men move on to the finals later that day. The finals later that day are 3 courses based on your placement. You get points from those 3 courses, and whoever has the most points at the end win. The 3 courses are hybrid, so upper body and lower body. It's a very similar course to the open. They do a few tweaks, make it a little more challenging or whatever. They do a speed round, and then they do a burnout round. The really unique thing about this event, though, is you said, like, you fall with Ninja, you're done. They didn't like that. And so they created a retry system where if you fall, there is a certain reset time. You get back up and you try again. There's a time limit for the entire course. So if you fall too many times, you're going to run out of time. But it's not like you fail the second obstacle. That's a balance pipe, and you're done for the whole day. Like that They just didn't like that aspect of it. So you fall, you get a retry system. And you get back up there.
That's a great way to make it more enjoyable for like the common athlete, like ninja athlete. I don't know that makes it more enjoyable to watch. Cause it's like, do I want to watch this guy like do this balance beam 5 times?
I would argue that you get 3 tries. Argue it is, because now you can go on my Instagram and watch the run I had at Mike Cook's. Last time I had some longer 2-minute videos. I put them on my IGTV, put them up there. I can fail obstacles and I still have 5.5 million views on
but
it.
people love you for different reasons. They're like this
For
you're
sure.
like very entertaining to watch, like regardless of what you're doing. We were doing like stupid random parkour stuff the other day. We all suck at parkour and people were still tuning in.
They were tuning in though, but maybe that is I have a personal bias with from my personality. I'm
from
sure
your clout.
But I think that like people can get behind a quick failure and like, oh, go again. Cause same CrossFit is in my mind.
Yeah.
The heavy lifts, someone goes in the very end, they've got to do this lift and then they drop it. People are actually like, oh, what? They dropped it. I want to keep watching.
Yeah. It makes you pull for that person more. And you get 3 tries per obstacle.
Just
So
kinda like the wall.
eventually you're done if you keep failing the same one.
There's a big cane that comes out and like,
So what?
Yeah, Ethan.
To kind of to like round it out, like what differentiates like NSN from like Ninja Warrior NBC, and like what do you think will make it successful if it becomes successful?
So their main idea was they want to put the people that people start to really be invested in. They want to put them on their screens more often so you can follow them more and more that even that day. So if you make it to the final, you're going to run 4 like courses. And they're trying to do, 6 competitions this season. They did 6. And so that's 6 times that you can watch somebody and watch them do multiple runs per day. And then at the championship, it's going to be very similar. We're going to do multiple runs that day. So you're not just going to see me on one course for 3 minutes and then that's all you see. So it's more of the people you want to see.
Okay. Just like being able to follow the athlete more closely, like in terms of their athletic performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I should just say, side note to your fiance and to Ethan Swanson, working with them, they're in it. Obviously, you've seen them on the show. They've done Ninja. They've lived Ninja. They get all the inside elements. And then they're both specifically so talented that I honestly think if I was ever to tell anyone about like who needs to head up and lead and do something, those two in particular, like the way Swanson thinks, creates courses, has the knowledge of like what's hard and what's not. And then Chris with the way he just has these numbers that he's running behind the scenes to make, especially when we were doing brain farting UNX. At UNX, like just watching him behind the scenes, there's so much that goes on that people would never know that he's just back there making it happen where Swan's out on the course going, okay, we're actually going to not do that. Actually go up a foot, go. And I watched it on, man, only these two could do both of these jobs. It's like they're so specifically tailored to it. So what
Chris actually did too is we had hired a production company for UNX and they paid a lot of money for it. And during COVID, in order to make this league successful, Chris learned how to do that himself.
Yeah.
Just from Google and researching things and whatever. And so now he fully live streams all of these events on his own. And he has Ryan Stratis who is commentating on it and he's amazing. And it's like so engaging and like really fun. And you can be writing and commenting while it's live, engaging with Ryan and Chris. And so, and then yes, Ethan is incredible at making the courses. I mean, Chris was talking about trying to do this and Ethan wasn't sure for a little while. He was trying to figure out what he was doing. He had moved to Denver. And so Ethan was like, not sure if he was in it. And Chris was like, well, do I do this without Ethan? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I really think you should try to get Ethan.
Yeah.
And so once Ethan called him one day and he just goes, he said some swear words in there, but he goes, I'm in. And so he said, you son of a bee, I'm in. And so that was all he said.
That's a Rick and Morty reference, isn't it? Yeah.
And so from then on, they've totally dove into this and they're doing it just because they believe in the sport and they want to make something for the kids to aspire to because the show won't always be there. And the show isn't a sport. It's a TV show. We've seen it. We've seen things happen where we're like, oh, right, this is a TV show.
Yeah.
And like, it's always like, well, the show versus anything outside the show. And the reality is like, they both can support each other. Like a really great athletic event that's based in Ninja can promote, shout out to like get people going to want to then go on the TV and do the little bit more TV side of the whole thing. So they can be things that help each other because obviously for now, people are coming to Ninja as a sport from Ninja as a TV show. Yeah. And as that may change, they can be things that go together. It doesn't have to be this like thing. And I don't think we believe that, but
yeah.
It can become this dichotomy.
What sport do you know is only like 10 years old? like
10 years old.
yeah.
The golf where you hit it and then you run. It's running and golfing at the same time.
You
That's
just
gotta
made
be-
it up.
No,
Ninja,
You
but
just
Ninja
made it
isn't
up.
10 years old.
Speed
Ninja's,
golf, look that up.
Sasuke's on like they're like 7, like they're deep into it. Sasuke's been around for
Okay,
years.
but in America, like
we're
it's-
just gonna blitz
it's
over
young.
speed golf. No one's gonna talk about speed golf.
Yeah, nobody
What?
cares
We
about
like,
speed golf.
I'm
You
lying.
just
I
invented it.
Y'all
It
just
doesn't
call
count.
me a liar, and then we're just gonna move
No,
on.
but
I mean, we're on season 13, so like
Yeah.
like 15 years, but like it's
been longer
just
than that.
evolving. I mean,
Yeah.
but for people starting to train it here,
yeah, fair.
and so like it's just we're in that like crucial time where it is evolving and it's evolving quick, and it's very weird. Like what sport started as a TV show?
Speed golf, also known as an extreme golf, fast golf, fitness golf, hit and run golf. History, come on, be less than 10 years.
1979 people.
Damn, speed golf
So
been around
you're
for
just
years.
not
She
with
just,
it.
You just read the first date. The sport is believed to have started. Yep, that's exactly what it says. Okay, now that I read the first sentence. Oh, man.
So it's only 50 years old.
Dang it.
No, 43.
What look at how long Sasuke's been around. One time.
That's like 40 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm
30,
saying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
around there.
Okay, but here.
But yeah, so it's only
But
about
here.
America now?
No,
We're just
I'm just
discounting the
saying,
rest
like,
of the world?
Pickleball. Pickleball's gotta
Pickleball?
be less than 10. Come on.
I'm just saying like
Pickleball.
what sport is
Pickleball's been
so
around for a minute, dog.
not many people have been in this right now have been
Yeah.
a part of a sport that has evolved one from a TV show to a sport first.
It's unprecedented. No, I agree with you. Absolutely.
And then it's just so young, and so people have to adapt faster because it's evolving so much quicker.
What's your favorite leisurely activity?
65.
My favorite leisurely activity? I like disc golf,
Oh.
which is
I know
very
that's been
well
around.
known.
Yeah.
Speed golf. We like disc golfing. Ethan and Chris and I love disc golfing. I love doing anything outside adventurous.
I just feel defeated now.
Dude, I've been on this kick.
okay.
I've been watching just like solo camping, like nature adventures, just on YouTube, and it's just been so like high. I don't
Maybe
she doesn't rock with me.
What?
It'll be like
Where did we come
be
from?
like a negative 40 degree like solo camping adventure, and I'm like, this is fire. It's just this dude building an igloo.
Dude, I honestly, I see our world changing. Just, I'm going to admit this on air. Last night, oh my
Careful
gosh. Last night, I'm in bed and like, as I can't fall asleep when I first get there, I have all these different things I normally do, but I was like, oh, I can watch something. I don't really watch something in bed. Like, let me watch something. And I'm thinking, do I go on YouTube? Do I go on TikTok? Do I go on whatever? I end up watching a live feed of this dude taking the shell off of an egg.
You went on TikTok then, didn't
I
you?
don't
You went on
wanna say it was
TikTok.
TikTok, but it was TikTok. And he's literally just live feed. He's taking little chunks of
a
this
shell.
eggshell off and leaving the membrane, this like gooey membrane without
You were
ripping
giving
it.
me shit for watching
That's what I'm
nature.
saying. Just let me get to the bottom point. I hated myself for watching it. I watched it for far too long, and then he tore it, and I was like, "This guy!"
He was so
he was so close. I watched two of them. He tore them both times, and it was like the last piece he tore, and I was like, "This guy needs to quit." But the point is,
That's great.
I think we're seeing things that shift, and it could be me. That's something I leave to you guys to say. Do you watch these things too? I watch the Japanese make these crazy unique things. I watch woodworking. I need to see a process of something happening and a closing of that thing, whether that's, people like the satisfying stuff. There's something to getting a satisfaction of watching without brainlessly.
Those like satisfying
being
videos.
involved.
I feel you.
Is that your outlet for watching the dude in the jungle?
just making igloos.
And
Nah, but I haven't watched that before.
I think that's coming from just the content, the overload of content, which is not something since the internet. It came around, then it grew to where we could see so many things a day. We need something that comes to a close, a finish, where we watch dumb stuff like pulling stuff off of eggs. Where I also,
Not everybody watches that.
yeah, well,
I
you
see
should have
that.
seen
She just
how
high
I
roaded
see
that.
that.
You think
and
I was the only one?
I know you weren't, unfortunately. That
You
I'm sure
know
the
about it.
I do,
So
and I
you-
scroll past it.
But you saw
She
it.
says she
scroll
got
past it.
thumb discipline,
Once
dog.
I will, once in a while, I'll click it to see how many people could possibly be watching it.
That was
and then
me.
I'm grossed
That
out,
was
and then I'm
me.
out of there.
I was there, and then I just stayed a little bit longer.
He said, well, hold on. If this many people's looking at this, what's going on?
And then I'm thinking, is he gonna tear it? And he did. Okay. Do you have something like
So-
that? I admitted mine. Do you have
Hear me out.
Something.
We'll pull it back around to Ninja Warrior. I think
I'm trying to get into like I want people to get to know Jesse though, because we've talked a lot about Ninja
We
now.
want to
it's
know what
okay.
weird
No more
internet
Ninja.
videos.
we'll
Let's
finish
know
this
what's
real
Jesse
quick.
like.
Is I think there are more and more, especially kids growing up, that are watching stuff. One from their iPads, their phones, their whatever. They're not watching as much network TV, and I think taking it in a way of putting it on a live, putting it in front of them, accessible YouTube or whatever. I feel like that is where it is going to be more successful as a sport. That's all I'm going to say. Not your egg. Video.
We've gotten into a lot of topics, a lot of things, and we need to. We'll do a part 2 to hear any more. I mean, you could do 18 parts, but I know that you got to get over to Barclay's house and you want to spend time with her, and we don't want to hold you up here forever.
Love that girl.
But is there anything you want to let people know, where they can follow you, where they can see what you're up to, what they can see your fiance
Hit her with
doing?
some blitz questions first, just some random questions.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
This is about to be off the dome to
Okay.
the fullest.
You're good at this.
What?
Okay, I'm gonna give you 5 questions. In the first answer, you just say it.
Okay.
So the quicker you answer, the better.
Okay.
Wiping yourself after using the restroom, do you go front to back or back to front?
What?
I said answer the question.
That is personal.
Okay, that's a good answer.
You went
I'm
with
glad you went
that,
there. You told me just to make it up, and that's the first thing that
That's
came to
what's
mind.
on your
I'm
dome?
sorry. She answered it well. Let's move on.
You crazy.
I didn't like that came to my mind either.
Also, we all know the right answer. Like, if there's a wrong answer, there's a wrong answer,
it's
and there's a
left to
right
right.
answer.
Left to right. You use the squeegee. Oh my goodness. Moving on. Okay. Let's get some easy ones out of the way. Favorite color?
Ian
Orange.
cereal? Ew.
Okay. Favorite
Orange.
cereal coming in from Rocky.
Tigger is why. Tigger was my favorite cartoon character when I was a little
Okay,
kid,
fair enough.
and he's orange.
Yeah. Hey, I don't hate on it. Favorite cereal?
Reese's Puffs.
Oh,
Reese's Puffs. You know they got a new one that's clusters.
Yes, I've seen it.
Of course, because she's a real fan. She's a real one.
she's been around.
Favorite ninja?
Christy Ganji.
That's too easy, dog. That's her fiance.
No, but she could have said it wrong though.
Oh, there's
That would be
tension.
weird.
The tension.
No, the real one, you know.
I could have been like Daniel Gill.
Chris is like, what the?
He's at home going boo. Y'all got me all nervous now. I can't ask what comes to my mind because I'm afraid
You
I'm
think
asking
about
something you
non
like.
bathroom questions.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
cover
think,
you
I'll
for a bit.
think.
What's your favorite movie?
That's such a hard one.
I liked Boondock Saints a lot when I was younger. That was a good one.
I did not think she was going to say Boondock Saint.
But we also love Pixar and Disney movies.
Yeah. Dang.
There's
Okay,
so
favorite
many good
Disney
ones.
movie, maybe?
Okay. Favorite Disney movie is Aladdin.
Okay.
Favorite Pixar, I'm really into Finding Dory. It's so good.
Karaoke's on. What song are you singing?
Oh, that's a good question, my guy.
Backstreet Boys, You Are My Fire.
Dang.
You are. Give us a little bit.
No,
I'll back you up.
no.
No, you don't want Graham back
Go
in you
on.
first of all.
Desire. No, we're good.
People go tune out right now.
I Want It That Way is the name of that song, isn't it?
yeah.
What did I say? You Are My Fire. Oh, yeah, I want it that way. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you just said the lyric. To the
Also,
song.
if Possum's listening to this, Possum, if you're listening to this, you heard it here, man. That's her favorite song.
If you
Karaoke
could,
too. We crushed it, man.
if you could travel to
That's
any
just for Possum.
vacation spot right now, fully paid for, you and Chris, where would you go?
We have been talking a lot about going to Hawaii.
Hey, my guy.
Honestly, anywhere that has like beautiful snorkeling. Like that's
She's
like
an
my favorite
island girl.
thing.
Just trying to make it.
Anywhere we love snorkeling.
Another one coming in from Rocky Top over there. What is your, if you had any superpower, you have it right now, you utilize it. What is it and how are you going to use it?
Never get tired.
Never get tired.
Kevin Gates
Think about
superpower.
it. Really think about it. You are never tired. You never have to sleep. You always have energy. Like think about doing ninja. Think about your life. Your life would get, you would
could
get a
be
third more of
Superman.
your life.
You don't need to be like tired. You could just be Superman and
I don't know if I like that.
you could fly.
Never
I don't,
get
I don't
tired.
think I want that. I think I want all the elements.
like
of life.
sleeping
I like,
too, yeah.
I like rest.
You don't
don't
need
like
it.
sleeping?
How do you? That's what I'm saying.
You
Well,
like it because you need it.
right? Well, maybe. But either way, I
it
like
feels
it.
good because
I
it feels
still like
good
it, though.
because you like need it.
I like ice cream because
I thought
I
about
don't
this
need it, I
recently.
guess.
I was like, man, there's been times where I don't enjoy experiences because I'm tired. I've been traveling and I don't enjoy something or whatever. Or I fall on a ninja course because I'm tired. Or I can't do something because I'm tired. And I hate like you literally lose a third of your day because you're sleeping. You have to sleep those 8 hours.
Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Leonardo.
Okay.
I have a question, but it's a really,
If it's another wiping question, you're out of here.
This is a very deep question, and you know what the deep question
Hit
is.
her with it. Hit her
Do
with
we?
it. Mike Posner,
Okay,
baby.
from us. You answer this how you want, or not at all. You know, you can take your way out if you want. We listened to a podcast. Mike Posner said he was walking across America. I don't know if you've seen
No, just
it.
ask a question. Ask a question.
He said this is a good question, and I agree. How could we pray for you?
If we were to pray for you, what would you want us to pray for?
That's better said.
Okay.
You messed that all the way up.
Same.
Do you, I would say just, do you ever worry that your life is so good that you worry that something bad is going to happen because it's so good?
100%.
I've had
I
that.
I know that.
I've had that
Very
feeling
well.
a lot lately just because I feel so fortunate and feel so just happy and content with my life that I worry that something bad is going to happen because I have it so good.
Dang, that's a great place to be in. I mean, I'd rather be there than like the other thing is like.
Oh, 100%. And I feel very thankful for it.
Yeah.
And you see so much and you see things where people are not as fortunate.
Yeah.
And you know, you're on TikTok and you see this little kid who has cancer and you see like whatever. So like just that, I guess that something unfortunate like that doesn't happen. But like, how can you
Just keep
you
them
can't-
blessings rolling is what I'm hearing.
All I'm saying.
Just coast. Just help me coast.
Help me coast.
Help me coast.
That's how the enemy does, man. He tries to take away the good things by making us worry they're going to go away or they're not good enough.
And I'm
or
not
whatever,
saying
so.
my life is perfect.
Yeah.
But I love my fiance. I'm happy. I'm so happy with my life. I have a great family. I have great friends. And so, you know, I lay in bed at night, like next to Chris as he's passed out sleeping. And I like think about like, what if something ever happened to him? And it just crushes me. And then I get all sad and then I have to wake him up and he doesn't know what's going on. And it's like just those thoughts of like, you have
cheated on me in a dream. What?
You died in my dream. And so I just hope that like, I understand things, not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be good, but like, you just worry about that
No,
stuff.
I get that. I mean, I've definitely had a lot of trauma, so I get both sides of it. But
Right.
I think that's a really good point. Thanks for sharing the deep stuff. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing everything with us.
Hey, that question
Also,
works, bro. That
We're
question
keep it
works.
rolling, bro. Also, to everyone listening, the fans who are just tuning in, take this moment. If you are a believer and you do pray for Jesse in that way. You know, the anxieties over thinking something great can't continue to happen forever. That it can't always be better and better from here on out.
For sure.
All right, last question from Rocky. What is your why? And then we'll wrap it up after that.
What is my why?
What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning out of bed?
I think a big part of it is like wanting to inspire the younger generations because I feel a lot for the kids. Like
She love the kids.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher when I was younger, so I went to school for it. And so I feel like I was very fortunate in the people that were role models to me when I was younger. And so I want to be a good role model to others so that way they can be successful in their lives.
Dang, that's good.
Let's go.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been the Kind of Nice podcast. If you want to check out Jessie on her social media, she's going to tell you guys what they are right now because I don't know them off the top of my head.
My Instagram is Flex Lebreck, and then it's just Jesse Lebreck on Facebook. And that's pretty much, I'm on TikTok, but I've posted like 5 times.
Hating on me.
Hey, go
Don't
ahead
watch
and
the egg videos.
Send her some egg
Go watch her videos.
Yeah, don't tag
But
me.
if
in
you
that.
guys too, you enjoyed this and you were just listening, you want to watch some videos, you can get on our Patreon
Oh, I
and you
forgot
can
about
watch
that.
these videos and see Lebreck in person, you know, smiling here. As we got to enjoy her company for the day, man. It's great stuff. We got to do more to learn more. This could be just part one because there's a lot to know about everybody, but specifically your story. Thanks for sharing all the bits and bobs.
Thank you
there.
guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, funny story. Kid found out yesterday that I was coming into town.
Man, me and Grant were literally just brainstorming, and he's like, man, we need more females, bro. It's a sausage fest in here. And I was like, you right? And I was like, I just kind of made a list of chicks and like messaged. I think Jessie was the first one I messaged. And I was like, hey, you gonna be in Houston anytime soon by any chance? And she goes, yeah, tomorrow. And then I call her and I'm like,
what?
Are you messing with me? Like, what do you mean tomorrow? She's like, yeah, I'm coming in tomorrow to hang out with Barkley. And I was like, we go hop up on the cast.
Yeah, he goes, you want to be on a podcast? I was like, sure.
Here we are. Well,
cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Check out patreon.com/kinda nice if you want more content. Peace.
I'm kinda nice with it, yeah.